she attempted to make the system send that to her, but the system responded that this is your score, 249. And after that, she went on 3rd of July. I also said where result was passed. It is likely that this lady must have given her password to somebody. We are still conducting investigation on that, because there are certain things that only this girl is expected to do, and they have been done in 8 places across the country, particularly in Anambra. We have suspended 1 CBT center in our own case, and we are querying 8 CBT centers across the country. The result is not one being paraded by her. What she printed was not what she was parading. Sir, the name of the center is not Thomas Shidoka Center for Human Development. That center has changed since 2021. Mr. Chairman, sir, on the 29th of June at 10:37 and the 9th of May, Mmesoma also sent a ticket to us. And in sending the ticket, instead of EE, she wrote FF. Therefore, Mr. Chairman, in summarizing, Mr. Chairman, during the investigation, the board became aware of a software app on Google Play Store that is used to prepare fake results for fun. We are determined to find out the relationship between the app and our involvement. Secondly, sir, investigation has also implicated an article. One of the respected national newspaper in this country published an article on the 22nd of August 2022. We have given you the article, sir. And as innocent as the article, the title of the article is How to Score High in JAMB. But if you look down, you will see on that page the telephone number of a person that you can approach to upgrade your score for you. Is there, we have given it to you. And that is where all of them, when you read the article, it's so innocent. But because of people with criminal tendencies, they are now put something, I put it there, on the 22nd of August, they put it there, one Mr. Paul, and that if you go, it can help you to change 150 to 300 and so on. We have also found that it is from that article that Mmesoma got the code from. That code that she used is the code, because today if you take that article which we have given you a copy, 22nd August 2022, in that page, look at that QR code and barcode. They are barcode and QR code used by Mmesoma for the forging of this current work. Sir, how did we come into it? That's the final level. We came into it because we announced at our policy meeting 10 best scoring candidates. And when we announced them, we announced with a caveat. Don't celebrate these people, because it's possible for somebody to score 380 over 400 and not be admitted. Because it's not the score that admits the candidate, Mr. Chairman. It's 5-0 level. We have seen many candidates who score 370. Even he or she does not have 5 credits. He goes nowhere. So you're celebrating him or giving him anything. It's just an exercise in futility. So we announced the 10 best highest scorer. And based on that, and the person unfortunately came from Anambra State with 360. Well, after we have done that, the Commissioner for Education in Anambra State got in touch with the board that there is a protest that somebody scored 362. Why are we giving it to 360? And we look at our system, give us the name of the person who scored 362. Then Mmesoma was supplied. and we said the score of Mmesoma was 249 and not
Mr. Chairman, point of order.
We took decision to withdraw the result of 249 of Mmesoma. We banned her for 3 years from taking any examination conducted by JAMB. And in doing that, let me also call you, there are 109 of them who committed serious infraction or the other. Last year, they were over 2,000, but because of firm steps we take, they are reducing. As I speak with you, Akure High Court had remanded 4 of them until November in prison custody for committing similar offense. They are remanded by Akure High Court, Federal High Court Akure, till November when their case will be heard. Extending investigation who might have played one ignoble role. We are extending our investigation and we have suspended the center where Ejikeme registered because we have discovered that the forgery was planned from the beginning. Because this case made us to look into our system, and in our system, you must upload the handwriting of the candidate. It's compulsory that the handwriting of the candidate form written in her hand, his or her, must be in our system. When we went into our system, we discovered that that center at that time put handwriting of another person, so that we will not be able to trace the handwriting of Ejikeme. It was found that they have been negligent. 8 other centers across the country are being investigated for the role they play in this case. On a final note, sir, it might be considered right to say that the candidate has, beside the measure taken by the board, she has exposed her personal details to the public beyond what the board could ordinarily redeem. What we have seen is that everything about her, she has tendered it publicly, and some of the things that she will later, in fact, in her interest, that her results and everything for this year at least be completely silenced, because we are querying not less than 8 people who have gained entrance into our password, because we into our what do you call it, profile, because we monitor everybody who enters, every one of the 1.8 million candidates, their communication, whatever you do in on their system, we have a copy. That's why we have queried it. Mr. Chairman, sir, our suggestion is to return to the 4. I'm not capable to move a motion before your Highness, sir. I'm saying that our 4 prayers that Ejikeme forged the results.
In an investigative hearing.
Yes, sir. Candidates were initially allowed to send UTME results. Every candidate in 2023, he or she would just type on his phone UTME result and send it to 55019 or 66019, and instantly he will have his results by text message. No printing of any result initially, because what we wanted to do, we don't know that people will be rushing to CBT cyber cafe and they will be extorting them, charging high and so on. But with your phone, you will have your results. JAMB did not use result notification this year for strategic reasons. Candidates were later allowed to bring their result directly from the e-facility platform. Let me explain what e-facility platform is. We copy what the result is, final result, original, initial result, initial ranking. We copy it and send a copy to the appropriate institution. 1,100 and so all the institutions. We send to them, and we send a copy to what we call e-platform for the interaction of the students with what is there. our database is with us and is completely offline. So the issue of somebody breaking into our database, somebody saying there is a glitch, I don't know where they got all those things from. Candidates were later allowed to print from the outer. And for example, sir, this is not even resident with us. It is with Sigma. We just put it there for Sigma. Any candidate who want to check, because the purpose is for them to just have something that they will show to their parents and take when they want to register. Yes. Number 3, sir. The QR code on the document the candidate Mmesoma is presenting is that of Asimiyu Moriam Omobolande, who sat for the exam in 2021.
Registrar,
Yes.
For the benefit of those who don't have their document, what are these things that you are enumerating before the committee?
Before?
What are these things you are enumerating?
Yes. What we are
For the benefit of those that are listening to you.
Yes, sir. I'm saying that these are the reasons to tell you, to let you know that Mmesoma forged.
These are the facts and
Yes.
their discoveries.
Yes. These are the evidence to show you, to convince anybody who has not been convinced.
Let's go to number 3.
Yes. Number 3, we have QR code on the document. And the QR code, any phone, just take your phone and take what this lady is parading. Show it to your phone, it will show you the owner. There is QR code there. There is also, what do you call the other one? Barcode. And it will show that this thing belongs to one girl in Osun State. She's a student of Osun State. Yes, sir.
Because it is an investigative hearing.
Yes, sir.
Can you kindly speak to a document? Stop speaking
Okay.
to a third party.
Okay, thank you. Oh, thank you, sir. Yes, sir. Ashimiyu Moriam Omobolande was the one who sat for it in 2021. And the girl scored 138. 138. And the registration number of that candidate is there. And the QR code and the scanner show that it belongs to Omobolande, what Mmesoma was presenting to our parents and the government. The notification slip is forged because all our security features are not available on it. Number 5, the fonts and template for the notification slip is not consistent with JAMB. I have put here for you, sir, the appendix for you to see it. The center name that this legend forged on the center is incorrect and not consistent with JAMB notification result. The barcode, when scanned again, shows clearly that it belongs to that lady in Osun State. The examination number that correctly belongs to, on that sheet that Mmesoma is presenting, Mmesoma's evidence, sir, I must say this, sir, Mmesoma's episode is amateur. There was one that we saw 2 years ago, Mr. Chairman. I almost went mad because this boy was even cleverer. What did he do? This boy took, the boy asked his sister to send a message to her, to him. And on his phone, he saved the number of the sister at 55019. 55019. Instead of calling his sister Ejikeme, she saved it on his own phone as 55019. And now ask the sister to send a result to him. So when he received it, when he came to JAMB with the father, he said, "Is it all from 55019?" So, yes, sir.
Kindly limit
That means Ejikeme Mmesoma manipulated our results. 2, no loophole or vulnerability is identified in JAMB process. Number 3, to prevent such in future, there is the need for members of the public to be careful in making unfounded statements and for them to have confidence in public institutions. And finally, to commend JAMB for its process and procedure. This, in my own opinion, is what the evidence I will lead or I will provide here will lead to. Mr. Chairman, sir, I have supplied a 37-page document to your committee. And I will not need to go through them unless you ask me to so do. I will just speak to it. Do I have the permission, sir, to either read or to speak to it, sir?
It's your choice to brief.
I started by making an introduction that the Vice Chancellors of Nigerian universities made recommendation to federal government to establish JAMB in 1978. And the Vice Chancellors needed JAMB because of ensuring uniform standard of conduct of matriculation examination, either being organized by each university, and the placement of suitably qualified candidates into our tertiary institutions, sir. In achieving this, the board has introduced innovations that will help to reduce human interference in its operational processes, thereby ensuring equity and fairness. Mr. Chairman, sir, the major reason for the establishment of the board, which still subsists today, was to eliminate multiple admissions. Multiple admission into various universities, because in the past, one single candidate would take 4 forms. The same candidate, very brilliant candidate, will be admitted by ABU. That same candidate is admitted by UNILAG. It's also admitted by University of Ibadan. And the candidate will now decide which of them to go. And at the time he chooses where to go, the others will have been deprived of their position. That was why the Vice Chancellors felt that instead of wasting time for people to be wasting positions, let there be one central admission process. The second one, Mr. Chairman, sir, is that at that time, the few universities and polytechnics around, candidates have to apply and buy forms to go to them. Each of them, you buy your form and you go and face the examination, taking 5, 6 examinations. So the Vice Chancellors, in their wisdom, which is substituted today, felt it is better for candidate to buy one form. And when you buy that one form, it buys one form, a candidate buys one form with the establishment of JAMB, and with one form today, that candidate is accessible to 1,130 tertiary institutions across the country. That is, it can change from one to the other with the application of one form. Mr. Chairman, sir, those calling for the scrapping of JAMB are probably oblivious of this, among other reasons, why not less than 45 countries of the world adopt the type of JAMB that we have in Nigeria. Mr. Chairman, sir, that takes me to certain clarifications on this matter. Number one, candidates who apply for UTME, they do not necessarily possess the qualification. I take it again. At the time they were sitting for the examination, more than 70% of them do not possess the prescribed qualification. The fact is that UTME is annually held before SSCE is conducted, and results of which are released months after the UTME result must have been released. In fact, Mr. Chairman, some SS1 and SS2 candidates take UTME. So UTME, contrary to the popular opinion that, oh, they have so number, those numbers do not represent the number of candidates qualified or ready for admission. Many of them take UTME as a test. That the assertion that the House resolved, and that's what I read from what you are saying, what I have here, sir, Mr. Chairman, what was sent to me says the House aware, that is, the House is aware that Ms. Ejikeme Mmesoma sat for the 2023 UTME and scored 362. I want to say this is totally false. If whoever made the House to be aware of such, I think was misleading the House. The fact was that this lady scored 249. Sir, I also want to say, sir, that UTME exam, because the motion talk about the performance of the candidate before UTME, with due respect, sir, I believe those members of the House who have speciality in education, or particularly in education assessment, will know the difference between norm-referenced exam and criterion reference exam. Unfortunately, many people mix the two together. I will still come back to this. The examination they were comparing with UTME, they were examination that we call criterion reference exam, and the exam UTME is called norm reference examination. Mr. Chairman, sir, we do 4 things in JAMB. The first one is that we do registration. And when we do the registration, candidates simply, what they do, before 2016, candidate will go to CBT center and will be saying, my name is Sisi Akuluede, and somebody else will be typing. Thereby, there can be mistake because it's not their names. But since 2017, what we did was to initially ask the candidate to send their names on their own. They will type it on their phone and send it into our platform. Nobody types the name for them. So if there is error, the error comes from the candidate, thereby reducing the possibility of error. From 2020, what we then did was that we created USSD code that is called 55019 or 66019, whereby the candidate simply sends his or her name into our platform and as typed by him. And
from which year you created that?
Yes, sir. Sir?
From which year?
2020.
From 2018. From 2018, we started this USSD. But from 2020, we now started what we call NIMSI. That is, we relate with NIMSI. Going by the law, what candidates now do is they just type their name. That is national identification number. They sign it and send it to 55019. And our system pulls the name of the owner of that name to our center. And therefore, if there is any error, if there is any spelling, it's between you and NIMSI, thereby reducing the problem of identification theft. Nobody can pick. Once you put your name in, it brings out the name. And that's since 2020 and date of birth. Then, Mr. Chairman, sir, immediately a candidate does this, the candidate will now, with his own telephone, after sending it to the system, the candidate goes to any CBT center to provide auxiliary, just some other information. Oh, this is the university I want to attend, this I want to do, this is the program I want to run. But the basic information about him is already drawn from NIMSI. But taking into consideration the level of pranks in the system, we also make sure that the picture of the candidate comes from NIMSI, but we also take in suite the picture of the person appearing before us. That is why we now have two pictures, the one by NIMSI and the one. So throughout the process, we'll be looking at these two pictures, so that if there is a difference, we will then know that there is a problem. The second exercise, and after the exercise, the system cannot be completed unless the candidate puts his or her finger to ascertain that all the data here are correct, and biometric finger, and that's what he or she uses. No, nothing else to confirm it without the finger, and it is that same finger that admits the candidate to the examination hall on the day of the examination. The second thing we do, sir, is examination. We conduct examination for some of our candidates. Some do not. We do not conduct for some. What is the reason? We conduct examination for where supply is less than demand. Candidates who want to go into 100 level, the demand is more than the supply. So you have to conduct exam for them to rank them. You will recollect from your various experiences that direct entry candidates don't take exam because the vacancies available for them, they cannot fill it. So that is why we conduct examination only for those to be ranked, because this demand is more than the supply. These candidates, when they do this, to print what they will take to the examination, they must visit our website. So every candidate knows the website where he prints his examination slip from. He will go, after registration, yes, he prints examination slip from our website. And that's the examination slip that he or she will bring to the examination center. The slip allows the candidate to gain entrance into the center, but it is the finger that allows him into the hall. What that means is that somebody can hold it when he gets there. If his finger does not correspond with the finger that registers, that person will not be allowed to take that examination. With the introduction of CBT, sir, because I've heard some people saying, why can't they release the result on the screen? Sir, with due respect, those who are experts in education know that that cannot be done. It's not proper to do so because it's unprofessional to do it. If you conduct exam for such people and you release the result on the screen, assuming you do that and half of the class fail, and they decide to damage the computer in the place, what will happen? So there are professional reasons behind everything we do. Apart from that, people know what is called standardization of results. You have to find the average, the mean of the batch. Because many people, they are comparing us with SAT, with TOEFL. I think it's because they are not experts in education management. And I want to urge anybody who wants to contribute to education matter to please be learned, to have exposure about the matter so as not to create undue confusion. Sir, this CBT center will now go, and after some time we release the result. The third one that we do, sir, is ranking. The public thinks we are releasing results. We are releasing ranking. That's what the public calls result. I will explain it further, sir. One of the misunderstood aspects of UTME is that its purpose is not to test the ability of the individual candidate in isolation, but to rank available candidates in the batch. Those of us who are in secondary school, primary school, you know they won't say you have 1 credit, 2 credit. They will say first position, second position, third position in English, third position in the whole class. Class 3A will be different from 3B. So that somebody who came who is first in class 3B, maybe if he were to be in A, he would maybe number 17, depending on the quality of your badge. That's what determines what your position is. So the examination we are conducting is a ranking examination. It is not to determine the quality of the person, but to rank available candidates in the batch. It is a basic lesson in educational assessment that there are two classes of tests, criterion reference and non-reference. The basic difference is that the former individual candidate is being individually assessed. Against what? Against a predetermined standard which he must meet. For instance, if you are sitting for SSC biology, the pass mark is no. If you are sitting for mathematics or for chemistry, the pass mark is predetermined that this is the pass mark against which a candidate, that's why we could say you have 6 C's, you have A1 and so on. In the case of UTME, there is no pass or fail because it's a norm-reference exam. Everybody in the class can pass, everybody in the class can fail. The purpose of UTME is to rank people within the batch, and that's why it's called norm-reference. There is no criterion. Unlike suicide, for example, Mr. Chairman, before somebody can be said to have a credit in biology in school site, he will have taken examination for 3 years that we call continuous assessment test. That in biology. In addition to that, that carries 40% of the score. And he will now do biology 1, biology 2, biology 3. They will combine everything in the public. You have never seen anywhere where we say, our institutions say they forge the thing, because they are not the one sending the result. The results are already with the institutions. One other misconception that's very painful to us, Mr. Chairman, is that whenever fake document of a candidate appears, or a candidate parades a fake document like that of Ms. Mmesoma, people believe that it must be from JAMB or it must be from the system. Why? Without sounding immodest, we want to say it is practically impossible from our system for somebody. We have not seen one, at least since I joined the board 6.5 years ago, we have not seen one case of somebody who can prove that this thing came from JAMB and it was found. This is not because we are the best, but because we do not operate cloud storage at all. And our database is offline. It's not online. Our results are not stored in the cloud. This is why candidates do not log into any portal to check their results. It will be most uncharitable, for instance, to hold Central Bank of America responsible for any fake dollar found anywhere in the world. And you say, you must explain where this, because you are Central Bank of America. Just as it would be wrong to hold the Nigeria Central Bank of Nigeria responsible for fake currency. Once the central bank says this currency is fake, the nation should believe, if you set up that central bank, that it is fake, not for somebody to say, come and prove that it is fake. Mr. Chairman, sir, we believe that we are not responsible for any fake thing that anybody fake elsewhere, once this does not emanate from us and it does not affect us. A final of the ranking is now sent back to the institution. I've said that. The fourth one is admission. Mr. Chairman, sir, the admission we do, we have what we call CAPS. We started CAPS in 2017. Mr. Okoro is the head of our ITC. He's a distinguished Nigerian from Imo. So we have been working together since I joined the place in 2016. When we conduct the admission exercise, we now get the ranking and put it on CAPS since 2017. CAPS makes it impossible for anybody to manipulate and give undue advantage to other candidates. The board has devised ways and means to ensure fairness, equity, transparency in all we do. What motivated the board?
Please, may I ask?
Our system appears to me to be foolproof. We have not seen anybody who has ever, since 2016, who has ever been able to penetrate what we are doing. And it takes a lot of inputs of experts, a lot of money to do that. One major headache, if there is any headache that we have, is that we have few institutions who conduct their admission, some admission outside CAPS, because they know that CAPS will not allow anything that is not straightforward, because it's permanent, it's there. That's why any candidate can write to me and say, I believe I should be admitted and I was not admitted. I will call him to come and see. Many institutions we have called their attention to it. Look at this, their apology. But when we have 100 complaints, maybe only 1 or 2 will be right, because the candidates themselves don't familiarize themselves with, you come from Enugu, you apply to University of Ife. The only way you can be taking University of Ife is for you to be on merit. After merit, you are out. Just the same way somebody from Oshun go to University of Nigeria, Nsukka, he cannot be considered on catchment. Every state has its own catchment. Once that state is not your catchment, you can only be admitted on merit. Once you fall below merit, you have lost the admission to that, unless you come from educationally disadvantaged states. Mr. Chairman, sir, in the matter of Mmesoma Joy Ejikeme, which was the purpose of our coming here, this lady, the attention of the board was drawn to a candidate by name Ejikeme Joy Mmesoma, who claimed to have sat and obtained 362 in the 2023 exercise. This, I say again, is absolutely false, because there is no such score in 2023. The highest was 360. We are the custodians of the result. The first person to see result will be Mr. Okoro, and he will pass it to me. And therefore, I'm in possession. Therefore, in position to advise the nation that pays my salary that this is false. Candidates, and in order to prove this, I want to give you a number of evidence. I just believe that I must give them because you have called us. I have harvested 19 evidence to prove, which I don't necessarily need to do, Mr. Chairman, sir.
Mr. Registrar, are they part of
Newspaper, we are beginning to do. You can take your own telephone, use it on that code, and you see what it will bring up. That's where she got it from. It's after the event that happened that we got to know that. And that relates me to what we tell the police, we tell to do about we have been doing. Yes, one honorable member from Enugu was asking whether we told police. I thank you, sir. When you spoke about the central bank, this is not the first thing that this thing will happen. At our own cost, we invited central bank, NDIC, EFCC, many of them help us at our own expense to show them the level of this. That's why I disagree with respect with you, that we are not looking, the member said we are not looking forward. That is not correct. We look forward, and we invited all these people. We even arrested somebody in Ghana, and we kept this. We wanted to even recruit the boy, because it was a 14-year-old boy who we invited. We have DIGs, of commissioners of police, in our high integrity directors of yes, we are not taking things lightly. If we had not been ahead of them, they would have broken into our system. How would we now determine somebody who goes out of his own way to go and do something? If they had broken into our system, I think then you can say we are not ahead of them. We are ahead of them because they are not able to break into what we are going to do. We invited police, and every one of them, they have been doing, and I said it clearly here. Then you ask the question, what have we done when we say? We write to the ID and DSS at least twice a year, giving list of all these rogue centers, and they have been trying. The successive IG of police, Commandant of National Security and Civil Defense, and DG of SSS in particular, have been very of tremendous help for us. And you ask about this app one. They brought it down immediately. I put it there that the security in the report. Security agencies, immediately we discovered and we called their attention, they brought the app down on that day. So what we are saying, because this Mmesoma thing happened, it does not mean that's the only one. We do it continually and continuously. That once we are, today, this morning, 3 of them are come up again. 3 of such rogue people. And by tomorrow we write to the IG, they will be brought down. What is going on? Sir, I also want to say about Catchment area. Unfortunately, in Nigeria, when it suits us, we reprobate and approbate at the same time. Nowhere in the world where you do not have affirmative action, particularly in the federal character, in the federal system. There is nowhere in the world. If the best football teams were to be chosen, Africa will not be touched at all. But they ask Africa to bring your best, Europe to bring your best, to go into the competition. Nigeria is a federation. Every segment of the country will bring their best. And that is why the system JAMB is using. Some people are saying, use bank their results. I pray it doesn't happen. The day it happens, you will see the consequence. Because the consequence is that there will be pass or fail. If you are the best from your local government, once you have the minimum, above minimum, we will pick you. Because we want every part of the country to be. Recently, we did an exercise. Who are those lower scorers? And they came from all states of the Confederation. No exception. The impression was probably they come from the north. I come from the south. I'm from Ogun State. But I can say emphatically that when it comes to this issue of those we are beating, we can send the facts to you. They are spread all over the country that we admit on those four. Because even in Lagos State, there are local governments, Bayelsa, Rivers, there are many local governments that are more backward than the most backward of the states. So the point I'm making is that this is general. And let us have the impression. And when you talk of catchment, ranking and catchment are not the same thing. Sir, let me emphasize. When we score and rank the candidates, if you are the best, the first 45% is for merit. They can come from one local government. First 45, that is the topmost 45, the 45% of the candidates, they are taken, even if they are from one local government. The second one is catchment. Every federal university, like I mentioned, Nsukka or Port Harcourt or Lagos, they have the states around them that are their catchment states, so as to reduce the costs for the parents. Because the closer they are to their family, the less the amount they spend. Yes.
Sorry, which university is University of Nsukka?
University of Nsukka is University of Thank you, sir. University of Nigeria. Yes, University of Nigeria. But I will, having heard it from you, I will say that they should make the character to be better and not limited to Southeast. Sir, with due respect, sir, let us be dispassionate in considering issues that have to do with education. And I once again still invite you to come and see how this thing is run. There is no state of the federation that does not have enough to be as catchment states. And every state is fairly treated. Then, honorable member, you ask, how do you relate catchment with ranking? When you rank candidates, somebody did physics, another one did Islamic studies, another one did geography. If we give you raw score, it's like counting $10 and 10 naira. Say because they are 10. 10 naira is different from $10 and definitely different from 10 pounds. You must do standardization of the score to bring them on the same currency. That is what we do. You see, by the time you change, you can't say, because I have 10 naira and he has $10, 10 plus 10, divide it into 2. No, we must bring them to the same currency before we release the results. So that's what is called standardization of score. It's not raw score that you see. Educational assessment is a very, very special area. Now, you talk about whether our system is, whether somebody has, since 2017, I've never seen a case. We have dismissed our staff, I can say more than 30, but not because they leak exam. Our exam are never leaked since 2017 to date. We can say it and beat our chest anywhere. It has never leaked and it will not leak because of certain things that we have put in place. It will not happen because we have done, you see some examination this year. When they were taking it, it's already in the net. We know we have studied this thing, we spend a lot of money penetrating these criminals. And before they start the acts, we act on intelligence and we act on such intelligence. Our exam has never, we dismiss our staff, maybe because they are tempted, we want to help somebody about admission, and you say, why did you admit this person when this person is higher than him? And we saw that he must have been influenced, we will sack him. So nobody does tries that. Since 2017 to date, we routinely deal with our staff, but definitely there has not been one case of exam leakage in JAMB, and I pray that it will never happen. Sir, on the issue of lapses in JAMB, sir, my brother and honorable, we want to plead with you. You may have personal, as you have said, experience in the past, but that was in the past. Presently, we do not have a situation that somebody can say we are not thinking ahead. Sir, I invite you in the name of God, come to JAMB, and we will be able to host you and take you through our system. You are likely to return a verdict that is different from what you have just said. And I'm happy my brother is just coming from the classroom, which means you have been there since 2017. So if you are there, no university can say that since 2017 to date, JAMB has ever admitted one person without coming from the institution. You can never find it. Because we have automated it, the admission officer must recommend to the vice chancellor. The vice chancellor must recommend to me. And I will just have to look at it to be sure nobody shall change, and we will approve. So there is no way, and our system has never been hacked into, and it will not be hacked into because we are offline and because we are not in the cloud. Finally, sir, you asked me what can you do for us. And I'm happy with the composition. Mmesoma will just be an excuse. I've been looking for a way of talking to the parliament. I want to advise you, get education experts to advise you on issues that have to do with education, so that our outputs and giving the richness of your background, I think if you trust us, ask us for our opinion, so that some of the things that people may comment about, if they are evidence. I could see 3 of the members, when I was talking about non-reference, they were even completing it before me, which means they knew. But you were in the house when they were passing motion, asking us to store an examination that is non-reference. Everybody who sees the motion will think, is there nobody who studies education in that house? That is why I'm pleading. What you can do for us is to please get education experts. Some of the things you ask us to do, if we do them, the worst that can happen is I go back to my class in the University of Illinois. So I lose nothing, but the nation loses a lot if you make us to take wrong decisions. I thank you very much for your attention. To write to the university to declare their sins. Between 2017 and 2020, between 2017 that we started CAP and 2020, universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education confessed on their own 1 million candidates, about 1 million, that they did in those 3 years that were under the carpet. But because these students are our own, they want to go on NYC. People are putting pressure on the minister. The minister then invited all the vice chancellors, rectors, that look, anybody who does it again, if somebody is not qualified, you know we used to give them 10%. President Obasanjo, seeing that some people were abusing, cancelled what we call discretion of 10%. That discretion of 10% that they do not have. If, for instance, the commissioner of police in your town, where you are, I was a vice chancellor. If the commissioner of police say my child has 240, and 240 is a pass mark, but it's not the next person on the rank, and he say please help me use your discretion, and I say no, your child qualified, but some people are higher. When my students are rioting, and I call that commissioner of police, it may not be fast for me. We are aware of this type of thing, and that was why this 10% was given to them. But because people were abusing it, President Obasanjo cancelled the discretion. My own prayer is that if you want to help, yes, if somebody admits 1,000, giving such a person 100 to use for discretion, provided they meet the court, it's not too much. But it was because of the abuse that they do not. I believe that what is making them admit people under this court is that we have cancelled discretion. If we restore discretion, it will make possible for them to admit sportsmen that are not brilliant, but they are sportsmen that could represent their institutions. Some of them, they do it for that purpose. Sir, what did we do? The Honorable Minister said, go and see no more. That you should register all the 1 million between 2017 and 2020, and nobody should do it again. I'm not sure that some people are not doing it again. But you may also hear that of this 1 million that the minister gave waiver for, we have not admitted all of them, because some of them don't even have the whole level. Somebody who now study medicine without chemistry or without biology, how would I give admission letter to you? We now ask them, you have been admitted, now bring your whole level. They don't even care about what you score at UTME. Because if you go to Ghana, they don't ask for your UTME. They only ask for your SUSAT. So those who do not meet the SUSAT, we are not clearing them. We are only clearing those who have the O level and hoping that if you can lend your heavy weight to the fact that people should stop doing illegal admission. Let admission be made on caps. And the minister emphasized even too much ago that he will deal with anybody who does it. But let's pray it will not be done. So we pray. What we are doing is we condemn it. We have condoned to 2017 to 2020, And we pray that people will not be doing it even now, because you can never trust Nigeria. They can think that they will do it again and they will go and beg the minister only to come and clear it. But as far as we are concerned, that they are predecessor. Most of them will say, I was not the DC when it was my predecessor. And the minister had said, whether the vice chancellor is still in office or outside office, he will be brought to book if he is discovered to have done it. And I think that's a very good step. I want to thank you, sir. Who know the question that is going on. We just press the button. Take hard 70% of it, 30% of it. The machine does it on the money of the examination and the price. So, from the bank, the e-bank, we don't even know, we that we are the custodian of the exam. And everybody who has access to our question, we put them in quarantine until the examination. If somebody, for whatever reason, is given access to the question, for that 1 month of the exam, we will be giving him food, he will be detained. He will no phone, nothing. For the whole month, we will pay his night allowance because it's like it's in detention. But he can only go to the toilet and stay there because he has to respond to the question. So it is a serious matter.
Thank you, Professor.